Yo, it's me, Scottie B. Route 30 podcast here with the guy himself. Shout out my man, Real Cold World. How you doing, my guy?
How many times I gotta tell you? They call me Champ. Two-time.
My God. I messed up. Okay, Mr. Two-Time.
Thank you kindly.
Mr. Two-Time, Mr. Ohio, Mr. Sacrifice, Mr. Give Back, Mr. Inspire. Am I right?
Talk to me nicely.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to you real nice. All right. Today, as you see, we got our hoodies on. All right, make sure you guys go to route30consulting.com. Is that right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Or just underscore Route 30 on Instagram. It's gonna be right at the bottom of your screen.
All right, make sure you get your apparel. We got our shorts, we got the sweatpants, we got the sweatshirts, we got the shirts, we got anything that you need. So make sure you guys are going to get that, all right? And then make sure you're giving back, you're sacrificing, and you're inspiring. That's definitely what we need you to do, all right? Now, on today's episode, what we want to speak about is the first pillar, all right? Now, there's three, right?
That's right,
We got the sacrifice, give back, and inspire. That's my fifth time saying it to make sure you guys get it, all right? So for me growing up, I never would have thought I would, be very close friends with somebody who realizes the pinnacle of dreams that, a lot of us have. And I think it's, invaluable to have someone like you here to kind of answer questions.
Appreciate you, brother.
And let me know and let those know chasing dreams, whether it's NBA, whether it's dreams to be a doctor, whether it's dreams to do whatever. All right, I think it's really, really good to have someone who realized the top of the top and can kind of let people know, what you did or how you got there. All right. So what I basically wanted to do was just ask you some questions as far as, wanted to start here. You made it to the NBA. How many years did you play?
This is my fourth team season as a professional basketball player. Played 6 years in the NBA.
Okay.
I've been around for a while. I've been around for a while.
And he's still going.
Yes, sir.
Still going.
Yes, sir.
So really, I'm gonna start just like this. What do you think was the biggest sacrifice you made from the beginning to the end as far as you getting to that pinnacle of the NBA? What do you think is the biggest sacrifice that you made?
I think the biggest sacrifice I've made, there wasn't one particular that got me to the NBA. I think it was the sacrifice in lifestyle choice.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And so I chose a lifestyle that I believe was healthy. Mm-hmm. I chose a lifestyle that I had a great example. My father was a great example to me. My uncles, they were great examples. My mother, my aunties, they were great examples. But specifically my father, that was my first hero, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he chose healthy lifestyle. He went to the gym all the time. He lifted weights. Never saw him smoke. I never saw him drink. He was always in the house at night. Mm-hmm. He always went to work, came home at night. So what that taught me was take care of your business and come home. And that lessens the chances of fluky accidents happening to you. And so I think my sacrifice was the sacrifice of living healthy. Mm-hmm. I enjoy eating healthy, fruit, it's like my candy.
I like it.
I enjoy, lean cuts of protein, vegetables and things like that. I actually enjoy eating like that.
Okay.
And because I've been that way from, a youngster, like I said, it wasn't always me at first. My parents taught me to be like that, but then when I became grown, I can make my own decisions. I realized that that's the way to go. And so lifestyle was the biggest sacrifice I made. And then once I made up in my mind I wanted to have a healthy lifestyle, then I picked up on like the particular skills of basketball, like working on my handle, like spending hours in the gym instead of sleeping all day. Spending, hours in the gym instead of laying up under a girl all day. Spending hours in the gym instead of, I probably could have studied a little bit more in college. I was strong academically, but I probably could have studied more, but I sacrificed some study time to be in the gym.
Right, because when you're in college, the goal is to get to the next level and make money. And
that was my goal, like as a kid. Like everybody says, I want to go to the NBA. But when I first got to college, when I realized how hard it was, because you might remember, my freshman year at Cleveland State, I wasn't that good. I played like 10 minutes a game. I wasn't that good. So I had to shift my focus from NBA to more realistic. Like, let me dominate college. So that became my focus, dominate college. And in order to dominate college, what did I have to do? I had to get in the weight room. I was weak as water as a freshman.
Okay,
so I got in that weight room. I started doing my 200 push-ups every day, 100 in the morning when I first wake up, open my eyes, and 100 before I close my eyes to go to bed every day.
And you still skinny, but go ahead.
And I'm still the strongest dude you know. Nah, but I did that every day for 4 years. I did my 200 push-ups on top of the workout that, we have to do. I got on the track and got my lung capacity up. So this is a true story. And everybody at Cleveland State knows this story is true. So I've never had asthma before. When we started preseason conditioning, I got diagnosed with sports-induced asthma because the conditioning was too difficult for me. I couldn't get through the mouth test without stopping and getting an inhaler. Like, my lungs was going so, I started wheezing. And coach took me to see the trainer. The trainer was like, have you ever had asthma? I said, no, never. They called my dad. They said, has Norris ever had asthma? He said, no, never. He was like, well, he does now. Because my lungs had never
tried to kill my boy.
My lungs had never pushed that hard, and so I had to get my body strong enough. And after my sophomore year, I didn't need it anymore. I built my body up strong enough to where I no longer needed the inhaler. So sports-induced asthma was like, that's when I realized, like, yo, your lung capacity is not that of a Division I athlete, let alone an NBA player. So I changed that. I did extra running. I got a weight vest, and I started to do wall touches and rim touches and backboard touches at night after practice when everybody would leave the gym to make sure that my legs and everything were built up. And then I got my rest, bro. I sacrificed, like, partying. You gotta remember, I went to Cleveland State, just downtown Cleveland, bro.
For sure.
I sacrificed that to sleep. Once I got done doing my 3 workouts a day, 6:30, 1 o'clock, and then midnight, and then you also have the practice with the team. So that's basically 4 workouts a day. I'm exhausted. So I have to sleep and study. So whenever I wasn't asleep, I was studying, and whenever I wasn't studying, I would sleep. So that's what I sacrificed. I sacrificed a lifestyle based around training.
Perfect. So what I'm getting from that is we minimize distractions. I really don't hear anything about distraction in there. And what I hear is a lot of discipline.
Well, when you sacrifice, this is what you do. Sacrifice just means you prioritize something. You can't have it all. And that's one thing I realized. I can't be the best athlete I can be and be the most popular kids at the party on campus.
Right.
If I'm going to be popular on campus, it's going to be because I score 40 points in the game. It's not going to be because I'm at every house party. So you can't be both. I can't be, well, I don't want to say you can't be, but it's hard to be like astronaut smart and ultra athletic. There's a few people out there that's like that, but for most people, you have to sacrifice one for the other. So rather than have a 3.5 GPA like I probably could have in college, or a 3.0 every single year in college, I had a 3.0 sometimes, and other times I had like a 2.8, 2.9 because I was in the gym. I didn't study extra hard for the test like I could have. I studied enough so I made sure I didn't fail it, obviously, but I prioritized the court.
Yeah.
I made sure I was going to graduate. Don't get that twisted. Graduation was a priority, but the highest priority was maximize your athletic potential, because at the end of the day, your brain is going to go further than your legs. So I wanted to make sure I got all that I could out of my legs. Like, I want to get everything out of my physical ability, because as long as I can think, I can find a way to work. But running fast, jumping high, being strong, everybody's going to have their day where they can't run fast anymore. Everybody's going to have their day where they are not strong. Everybody's going to have their day where that quick twitch is going to leave them. And so I wanted to make sure I maximize that.
All right, perfect. Well, just to give a little background on me and give you some sacrifice stories, and just for the people too. So I played basketball in college too. I went to a Division II school in Ohio, Tiffin University.
Yes.
All right.
Shout out to Tiffin.
Shout out to them.
Actually, y'all teammates that gave my brother a hard time, no shout out to y'all. I still got beef with y'all, but go ahead. My bad, bro. Cool. Set me off.
I really don't know if people did they give me a hard, maybe, but what I can say about the sacrifice part is I remember getting to school. Shout out to Coach Martin. We had the 4:30 a.m. workouts running. 4:30 a.m.
Sacrifice.
4:30, and I want to tell you about sacrifice. So you get to college and there's partying and there's women, because we are men, we are athletes. There's women. They want you to to hang out. They want you to go out. So my birthday is September 29th. All right, shout out to my Libras. And that's
Libra
right.
gang.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's right when the season starts. All right. So we start running, we start our weightlifting, we start everything around there. Tell me why I get to college and they throw me a birthday party, September 29th. Ask me where I was. I was in the bed, in the apartment, sleep.
For your birthday party.
For my birthday party, because I knew I had to get up at 4:30 next.
Sacrifice.
So that's what we're talking about, sacrifice. And just to fast forward for that year, we weren't yet in a conference. We were independent D2 college. And just to give you guys a little tidbit, that sacrifice made me, I made the national all-freshman team as far as independent Division II colleges. So, average, 11.2 points.
That's elite, brother.
Right.
Hey, that's
right,
elite.
right.
Pat yourself on the back for that,
Okay,
bro.
thank you.
That's
I
super
appreciate
elite.
it. But yeah, average, 11.2 points as a freshman, played and started in every single game, but that's what the sacrifice made.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So that's perfect that we at least got that. Now, we know that you did the sacrifices, but were there any moments that you kind of things were difficult and you were second guessing that maybe was it all worth it?
So, building up to college, I really had never really failed before at anything.
I
as you
can
know.
I can attest to that. He was first in everything, all the
Yes.
time. So
So leading up to college, I was salutatorian in my high school class, second in my class, 2 state championships, district long jump champion, all conference quarterback, all conference baseball. So I never really knew what it was like to really fail. I always exceeded, like excellence. So my freshman year, that was the first time where I got up there and was like, I'm not him. I'm like, I'm not starting. I'm not dominating the workouts. I'm not dominating the practices. They're not looking at me like I'm the dominant player. Like, they're not looking at me like, oh, that's Cole, that's the man. They're not looking at me like that at all. So I had to check myself where I was like, man, if I want to be good, I got to give up more. I thought it was going to be just like high school. Eventually, I figured it out. Now I become the best. Not knowing that that's not how you become the best. You become the best by putting in work. And so I had to learn how to sacrifice. I had to learn how to work hard. And I had a great example, Janathan Bullock. That was the captain at Cleveland State. That was the guy before I was the guy. Before I became the guy, it was Janathan Bullock. And Coach made me roommates with Janathan on the road as a freshman so that I can learn what it meant to be a captain, so I can learn what it meant to be the guy. Because it bothered me, why does Coach give Janathan all the last plays, or we need a shot? I didn't think he was the best shooter. I'm like, he can't outshoot me. But I didn't know Janathan was working out 3 times a day, every day, not just when he felt like it. And the coaches know everybody who's in the gym. I'm like, Nate, why Coach always trust you? And then he was like, you really want to know? I was like, yeah, I don't get it. Why he said, because I outwork all y'all. He said, I'm in the gym at 6 a.m. every day. I work out before practice. I work out after practice. He's like, every day. And I was like, every day? He said, every day. He said, you can start working out with me. He said, but I ain't going to call you to remind you. He said, but I'm going to be in the gym at 6 if you want to come work out with me. So I did it with him. I didn't do it every day like he did at first my freshman year, but I would come in there and I'd work out, and then I'd go to class, eat, and then I'd come in before practice a little bit early, maybe 20 minutes early. Janathan was there an hour and a half early. He's sweating before we warm up. And I'm like, I thought 20 minutes was enough. I got to sacrifice more. I got to show up an hour and a half before practice to make sure I get it in the way I'm supposed to. And so Janathan showed me how to be, how to be a captain, how to sacrifice, how to work hard. And then I took my natural gifts, working out 3 times a day, and that's when I became an All-American, which then excelled me to becoming a pro. So learning how to work hard, my freshman year was tough, bro. To answer your question, I used to question, man, is this for me? Is college basketball for me? Because getting an inhaler, bro, that was life-changing. I never needed an inhaler to get through conditioning.
For sure.
So I thought I was working hard. And my Uncle Roy used to always tell me, man, your high school, y'all just naturally good. You don't know what it means to work hard. And boy, he told the truth, because at Cleveland State, I questioned everything after my freshman year. Man, am I good enough? Am I sacrificing enough? And then I realized nah, you're not sacrificing enough. So that's the first time I ever questioned myself. And that was the last time I questioned myself. Because once I got over that conditioning, once I pushed my body through and made that mental breakthrough, that mental capacity to work hard, I became obsessive with it. Once I learned the answer to the test, I wrote the right answer down every time.
For sure. And I think for myself, I started to see results quickly as far as when I sacrifice the time and do the right things. I started to see, first of all, it started to get easier. I don't know if...
Like it's supposed to be.
Right. Once you got to school, I don't know, of course, once you started to put in more time, things started to slow down. Things started to get easier for you, right?
Exactly.
Once that started to happen for me, because we both played the one, so the point. So we need to know every position.
Yes.
We need to, and I got to school as a 17-year-old basketball player. There's 23, 24-year-old guys on my team,
Yep.
and I'm a leader.
Absolutely.
And they looking at me to lead, and I was never taught. Of course, I know how to lead by example. I was never taught the vocal part or getting there early or doing extra sprints or extra shots.
The habits.
Thankfully, you're right. Thankfully, I had coaches that had me in the gym doing all that. Thankfully, teammates got to see it, and they're like, well, if the smallest, 17, I did turn 18, but I wasn't at that party. I told y'all that. But once I turned that, if the youngest, smallest guy is putting in this work, and they saw me scoring, they saw me. I mean, you talk about the end of the game shots. I had that when I was a freshman.
Right away.
So, but it's because, shout out my coach, Rodney Martin, he would tell people that's the best shooter in the gym. So anybody that want to test me, you still can. But that's the best shooter in the gym, right? So, thankfully, because I put that time in, so I definitely think you guys should do that. Now, as far as that go, when we talk about sacrifice, that makes me think about that you started to get a daily routine down.
Yes.
And you talk about how, you went to Dunbar, of course, shout out to
Dunbar High School, Dayton Public Schools, baby.
And y'all were great. Y'all weren't good, y'all were great.
Legendary.
Two state championships back to back when you were there?
Absolutely.
Was it?
Absolutely.
All right. And your uncle said that y'all were doing that just off of straight talent, right?
Yes.
So now that leads me to ask this question. Talk about how your daily routine, maybe from high school to college, and I don't think we've gotten to the NBA part yet, but how did your daily routine, as far as sacrificing and putting in the work, how did it change from high school to college to the NBA, or to your professional life?
So in high school, it was hard to expose a weakness because our team was so good. So it was hard for any of my weaknesses to really be exposed. So I would come in practice. We used to call it 10 for 10s. Make 10 makes 10 spots. It's 5 spots on the court. You just go around twice. Make 10. 10 medium range all the way around and back. 10 threes all the way around and back. That's what I felt was working out at the time. I didn't know nothing about ball handling drills. I didn't know nothing about cone work. I didn't know nothing about side steps, hesitation dribbles, hang dribbles. I didn't know none of that. That didn't even exist. I knew about the basic triple threat, head fake, shot fake. So I did basic 10 for 10s. Just come in, 10 medium range, 10 threes, go around twice. That's what I thought was working out. Fast forward, get to college, I realized first individual drills with just the point guards. It's only like 4 or 5 of you in the individual drills in college. We started dribbling the ball two basketballs at once, or we started warm-ups, doing certain moves, the ball skipping off my leg, I'm dribbling out of bounds, I'm looking weak, bro. I'm like, I don't got no handle like that.
Yeah, I ain't never had a handle problem, but go
I was
ahead.
like, man, I don't got no handle like that. Now, I can score on you. It don't take much for me to go just dribble and score, but like to have a point guard handle, I realized I don't got no strong handle. So what did I do? I started doing extra dribbling, like practicing. It's crazy that it sounds like this, but I practiced dribbling. Crossover, double crossover, between the legs, double between the legs, behind the back, double behind the back, in and out, double in and out, left hand, right hand. So I started practicing that way just to you get reps shooting. I started doing reps for dribbling to help build my forearms up and my shoulders up so I had that snap, And so I would do that, and then I would have days where I focus solely on ball handling and stationary shots, and then I would have days where I did moves into shots.
Yep.
And then I just progressed. The more my skills developed, the more I added in the workouts. So freshman year, it might have been just all dribble between the chairs, spot shot. Sophomore year, it turned into the morning workout was spot shots because it's early. The second workout was ball handling drills into the shot. And then the last workout of the day was the box jumps, with my legs tired, and then I would shoot with my weight vest on just so I can keep my explosiveness. And then so I would have a point guard, like ball handling day, spot shot earlier in the day, and then the last day I'd be more like a scorer, like with my weight vest on, I'd be like coming down, like rolling the ball out and like a pin down, turn and shoot, and I would just make 200. And then as that got easier, make 300, and then as that got easier, I started making 500 makes a day. And then by my senior year, I was making between 500 to 1,000 makes every day. And days where we didn't have class, that's the 1,000 make day. Days where I had a heavier coursework or class, that's the 500 make day.
For sure.
In summertime, I went to summer school for both sessions, which kept me up there so I can stay on my routine year round. And that's how I made the jump. That's how the workouts progress.
All right, perfect.
Yep.
Well, yeah. So before you jump to your NBA schedule, just give a little bit on as far as I went. High school, I had that court in the backyard.
Yes.
Everybody came to my house.
Everybody knows where Scottie B lived at in Trotwood. That was the place to be.
I had a fortunate shout out to my godfather, R.I.P. to him, Mr. James.
Kidd.
Him too, but Mr. James Voss. He had a house. He built a court in the backyard, and they moved away. And my father, my family, we moved in there, and that was probably the best decision that we made because I was there every day, outside all day shooting, getting my shots up.
You got me in trouble being there all day.
We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, you came over and yeah, but because that's what we did. We just played ball.
My father thought that was too good to be true.
Right. Like these two young men, they're just playing ball all day. I know they're getting into trouble. No.
He was out there working out, playing 5-on-5 with the neighborhood all day.
That's all I wanted to do was let them know I was the best, man. But as far as my routine then, it was playing all day. I don't know how many kids actually go play all day now.
They drill sergeants now, drill master.
Right.
You ask somebody who the best, what they say. Well, do you mean skills or who's the best? That was never a conversation back
right.
then.
We settled it right here on the court, to be quite honest.
Right.
That's how we're going to show the best. But my routine back then was I played all day as far as high school went. And then there came a time, shout out to one of my teammates, Mr. Steve Dees, where he would come pick me up. Early in the morning, we would go to the downtown Y, which me and you spent the whole day. Shout out to your pops. Me and you would be at the downtown YMCA. But I went there a couple times, 6 a.m. We would run, shoot some shots. But as far as the routine in high school, it was just I played all day and practiced, and I shot all the time. Now, once I got to college, you know how that goes. We had the 4:30 a.m. workouts as part of my routine. Once you're done with that, it's 7. Cool, you eat some breakfast. You might go to a class, and then we got individual workouts.
I like how you slid that in there. Might go to a class.
I mean, if you have a class. I was fortunate enough that my classes started at 12. You know what I'm saying? I had a
Shout out to whoever his counselor was. He had a great schedule.
Privileged athletes. Yes, thank you, God. My classes were from like 12, and I might have had a 4 o'clock. But yeah, I had a fantastic schedule. So I would go from that morning workout, then we would have individual workouts.
Yep.
And that's where the ball handling, that's where the shooting came. That's where we take our spots and we do our thing. And then we have practice, right? Mm-hmm. And then once night comes, I set up the gun. I don't know if you guys are shooting on the gun, but I set up the gun and I'm getting my shots in on that.
Yes.
Now, as far as shooting goes, that's what I do. I'm second all time in high school. Somebody just passed me, but I'm second all time in high school as far as threes go. You get to college, I'm second all time in percentage. 45.7%. That's pretty good as far as from three. Number one is, elite. I think, 45.8. You know what I mean? So, that shows you how that routine does that. And that did a lot of good for me. But just to transition from that, I don't have the professional experience. So what happened after that? How did the routine for you get a little bit, more intense after that?
So once we got, I'm saying we, because we all made it.
Yeah, for sure,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah, we all made it.
So once
I was there.
Once we got to the league, the workouts evolved.
Yeah.
It took the college workouts, it took that for me to get my skills together, to get my confidence together, to get my body together, to evolve to be able to do the pro workouts. And what I learned about pro workouts is, in college, everything is about going harder, going harder, going harder. That's not the pro game. In the pro workout, it's doing it the right way. And then once you master doing it the right way, make 100 shots that way. So I went from just getting reps up, rep after rep after rep, thousands of reps to thousands of reps this particular way. So when I would shoot, I had to shoot the same way every time. And if it didn't feel right, if it didn't look right, if something was off, like that rep kind of don't count.
For sure.
And that's the difference from a pro workout. So when I would come off and shoot, like if we doing like pin down shooting or whatever, I come off and pin down shooting and I'm doing the left step ins. If I didn't land the same way every time, like straight up, straight down, or I didn't have the long follow through, whatever, that meant it was off. Like,
sure.
and I needed to make 200 shots like that, 200 perfect release, boom. So it became not about reps, it became about mastery. So the best example I would be like, if you a kid and you learn how to color, right? You just learning your colors. This is blue, this is green. You scribble up the thing. You know how to color, but eventually you have to be able to color between the lines.
For sure.
And then eventually after that, you start learning from crayons to colored pencils to ink pens to paint. There's levels to the art.
For sure.
When you get to the NBA level, what makes Steph Curry a great shooter is not that he can just shoot, it's that he can shoot that same way for 82 games in the playoffs. What makes Klay Thompson a great shooter is that he shoots the same shot, if you watch him practice, every time. To the point to where if he shoot it off and he miss, he like, I know what happened. And I got to that point where I started shooting, it's like, I know I ain't hold my guide hand long enough, or my guide hand wasn't, where it was supposed to be. So you learn mastery, and you're not rushing in between reps. In college, you shoot a rep, and the coach like, come on, hustle back to the, no. Shoot, walk back to your spot, because we want this rep to be game rep. We're not getting in shape. So I learned that there's skill work, and then there's conditioning skill work. So when you become a pro, if you notice, most pros, it look like they're moving slow. Oh, they ain't going hard enough. No.
You are exactly right.
They're working on details.
Yeah.
They're not there to shoot and rush to come back and shoot again. No, they're working on shooting a particular way, particular balance, particular follow through every time. They're gonna walk back to the spot, and then they're gonna do that rep again. And that's what I learned about the pro game. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter, harder. And that's the difference.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Now, the word of the day is sacrifice. Is there, and if there's nothing, you can say there's nothing. Is there something that you gave up that you wouldn't expect that you had to, or that maybe was like a big deal to you that you kind of had to sacrifice or give up to achieve? And it could have been at any level, high school, college, or once you got to the league.
So, in high school, well, you kind of remember how it was even before high school. I always know nice guys, no offense if you're a nice guy, but the nice hee-hee-ha-ha guy finished last to me. I was never a hee-hee-ha-ha guy, as you know. Sure. I was always like, if we gonna play, bro, play. If you ain't gonna play, don't get out here with me, because I'm playing.
Very focused.
And so,
Very focused.
Yeah. So I gave up the hee-hee-ha-ha stuff. I gave up to me, it's fun when you win. Playing for fun, no, the fun part is when I beat you. That's the fun part. It ain't fun if we play and I don't win. So I sacrificed the participation stuff. No offense if you believe in participation for sports, that's good and that's for you, but that's the difference in professional mentality. I believe if I'm gonna participate in something, I'm participating to win. And so I gave up the fun attitude at a young age.
Yeah, and I do want to put this story in there. I remember, I think you and I were about 5th or 6th grade. We were at a high school game, and we were sitting close to the court, and you were focused and you were looking, and I don't know what the conversation was about, but you start going, I can play. I can do that. I can beat them. And I'm looking at you like, what? Dog, we 12. Like, you like, nah, I got them. But that was just what you thought, and that's what got you to a certain level.
Yeah,
So,
bro. And in order to do something special, you have to have something special about you. And so I'm not 7 feet. God didn't bless me to be 7 feet. God didn't bless me to be 6'6", long arms, 220 pounds, 40, 50-inch vert. That wasn't my blessing. My blessing was my willpower and my ability to learn and apply. If you taught me something, I can go learn it and apply it, and then I could be better the next day and the next day and the next day. That was my superpower. And so once I learned, like, first of all, play hard. That's a skill, all right? I learned how to play hard. Then I learned skills. Let me sharpen my skills up. Then I learned conditioning. So now I play hard, I'm in the most conditioned, and I have skills. There's nothing else left in sports.
For sure.
If you're skilled, if you play hard, and if your body's in shape, only thing left is whatever God naturally gave you. Mm-hmm. And so I took that mentality. So yeah, I didn't really give up much. The only thing I gave up was the silly hee ha ha stuff. Mm-hmm. And when I got to in college, I didn't necessarily sacrifice anything, but I purposely didn't have a girlfriend. Like a person that can be like, that's my girlfriend. I had girls that I talked to and stuff like that, but I never had nobody where I was like, that's my girlfriend, because I knew I wasn't gonna be a good boyfriend. I'm not calling you every night because I'm working out 3 times and I gotta study, and my sleep is paramount. I'm not a pleasant person if I don't sleep. Sure. And I'm not gonna be remembering birthdays. I'm not going on dates, because how do you work out 3 times a day and have to study and practice and have time to go on dates? And I don't really have no money like that anyway. So girls was kind of like, it was every now and then talk to some girls, but it was no girlfriend, because I ain't had time for that. Mm-hmm. So I gave up that. And then when I got to the pros, I didn't give up anything. I learned more, so I started doing more. I learned, how do I work out this hard and show up tomorrow and not be so sore? I learned about the cold tub. Mm-hmm. I learned about stretching. I learned about massages. I ain't really getting no massage in college like that. Only people that got massages was people that was hurt. But I realized, massages is healthcare. I don't got class to go to, so what am I doing during the day? You know what I started doing? Scheduling massage 3 or 4 days a week. Getting in the cold tub every single night. Cold tub, hot tub, contrast. So I didn't really sacrifice anything. I learned to put more into the regimen, mm-hmm. which that takes time. So I sacrificed time. I could be at Aventura Mall. I could be Bell Harbor in Miami. Instead of being there, cashing out on new clothes every week, getting new bags every week, I put my schedule, all right, I got a massage at this time. I got a chiropractor at this time. I'm working out. We got practice at this time. I'm doing my individual workout at this time, my second individual workout this time. And then I got my eating time. I hired a chef. I learned that,
sure.
I'm looking at Ray Allen. He in year 19, but he looked like a specimen. You know what I mean? I'm looking at LeBron James. I'm looking like, this dude played 48 minutes a game. How do he have this energy? He got a chef and a nutritionist. So what do? That's what they do. That's what I'm gonna do.
For sure.
Great
examples.
I hey, I need vegetable protein smoothies every morning. I need that. I need fruit with my salads. I need that. I need lean cuts of meat. Don't bring no fatty stuff. Don't bring no fried stuff. I need lean, broiled, grilled. I need that. And I incorporated that. So I didn't necessarily sacrifice anything. I learned and put more into my regimen. And I felt the results of that.
Yeah.
I guess I stopped eating soul food. Is that a sacrifice?
It can be, because there's a certain gratification, there's a certain comfort that comes with that makes you feel good.
But I gave that up. I saved that for the off season, and I only mean 1 week of the off season. 1 week, my first week off, I go home, I get all the goodies from Granny, and the yams and the fries. 1 week, that's it. And guess what? Now that's 1 or 2 days, because 1 week of that will kill me now.
All right, that's a perfect transition. How you speak of Granny. One thing that in the city, and anybody that knows you, one thing we do know is family. You got a big family.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can tell. a lot, tell us a lot about that. Because as far as, I don't know how many, uncles, how many brothers your dad got, how many children, and I'm sure you can talk about that. But one thing that we want to know is kind of what did chasing that dream and all them sacrifices, what kind of impact did that have on your family? Positive, negative, anything?
So one thing I could say thank you right now to my family. I always thank them, but I could say formally, thank you, family, for understanding my dream, because they never made me feel guilty for not being there sometime. There's plenty of holidays I missed, plenty of birthdays I missed, plenty of family functions that I missed, but they understood what I was trying to do. And so it never felt weird to me, because they never made it feel weird. Like when I came around, they wasn't like, whew, finally good to see you. You finally came back around. They never did that. It was always when I was around, cuz home, all right, we doing this, cuz gonna be home. How long you gonna be home for? That's how it is. It's not like, oh, you missed this, you missed that. So they never made me feel awkward. So yeah, I missed a lot. I mean, it's more weird for me when I'm there than when I'm not there, quite honestly. And so, yeah, but they never guilt tripped me, because they're the ones that told me, when growing up, they told me, if you got a dream, go for it. My mom always said, it ain't nothing that you can't do if you go for it and if you put the time in. So I was like, my uncles, they all went to college to play football or basketball. Every one of them played college football or college basketball. Every one of them was teachers and coaches.
How many of them was? I think let's get it.
So my dad got 8 brothers.
Thank you.
Yeah, my dad got 8 brothers. So, one of them, All-American at Nebraska back in the 80s, when Nebraska was like number 1 or 2 in the country. It was like that. Another one of them went to Texas Southern, HBCU, was the point guard, all-conference point guard, and all-SWAC quarterback. Another one went to Eastern Washington and played. Another one, two other ones went to Central State and played football. And so I think my dad might have been the only one that didn't go to school and play sport. And he played like intramural sports, but he was like on the academic stuff. So I come from going off to college,
fantastic,
making
lineage.
A career. Exactly. Yeah. And so they the ones that pushed me to go. So when I went and got on my journey, they understood.
Yeah, that just shows the importance of having that support system and having that example, because you doing what you did was sort of normal. It was sort of, oh, you're supposed to do that. Like,
yes.
That's what we do.
Yes.
And I feel like that also gave you I don't want to say a jump, but that
definitely was a superpower, bro.
Right. That also
because they didn't
gave
hold.
you something.
I never felt like they was holding me back, and I never made them question. They are my world. My family is my world. So they never questioned if I loved them or not. So they know that I love them, and they know that if it was life or death, or if they really needed me, I would drop everything and stop playing ball to come make sure they're okay. That happened one time in my career where I was playing ball overseas.
Right.
My mother got sick. At first it was oh, I'm just not feeling well. It went from that to she's in the hospital. Ooh. It went to that from she's in the hospital to wires is hooked up to her, and I'm like, they not telling me something. I said, well, all right, Mom, you hang in there. She didn't know. I hung up the phone and bought a plane ticket from Spain. I was there 10 hours later. She woke up the next day, and I was by her bedside. She thought she seen a ghost. And I was like, what's going on? I told my team, I said, I might come back, I might not come back. And they was understood, thank God, but I told them even they didn't understand, I'm out. Forget the check, everything. So they never had to question if they was number 1 or not. It's just that as long as they okay, I can do my thing. That was the first time where Mom wasn't okay, so I was like, all right, basketball is important, but it ain't that important.
For sure.
And when your family supports you like that, you can do everything, bro. And if they would have been like, yo, if my mom and my dad or my sister would have been like, man, you ain't never here. Man, baby, you missed my birthday. Do you still love me? It might have affected me a different way. I might have not worked out as much. I might have took weeks, months off. But because they was never like that, I'll just send a gift. I'm like, Mom, I ain't gonna make it to your birthday this time, but check your account or check the mailbox. I sent something Pops. I probably ain't gonna make it to this one, but when I get back, we're going to go to lunch, because he want time. So when I get back, all right, Pops, we're going to brunch. My sister, Deanna, I ain't going to make it to your birthday in June, it's the finals, boom, 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 boom. But for your vacation, for your birthday, come down to Miami or come to Europe, boom. So I would make up for it, to get my time with them.
For sure. So you told me about the time just now, of course, how you needed to make sure Moms was cool, so you took
100%,
that trip
bro.
right back. But was there any moments that you missed, as far as family moments, that you can think of that maybe had a big impact on you not being there?
I didn't miss. I was there for mostly everything. The main thing, I was there for my sister's graduation.
Good.
Deanna, I think I was there for her college graduation. I believe so. The milestone birthdays, like 40, 50, 60, 70. I was there for my parents' birthday.
Good.
Grandma's 90th, 80th, and 90th. I was there for the milestone stuff. But I miss Christmas, bro, a lot.
Yeah.
I miss Christmas and Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving and Christmas is like regular days to me, like a random Tuesday to me, because I miss so many of them. So it didn't have an effect on me, because a lot of times you playing ball on those days.
For sure.
The Christmas Day game was my first pro game. In college, you got Christmas Day tournaments and Thanksgiving tournaments, New Year tournaments. So, yeah, it didn't affect me to miss holidays and stuff. But I was there for most of the big stuff. I was there for.
All right, perfect. Now, earlier we spoke about how you got the chef. You got your health.
Yes.
All that right.
Health and well-being. Sacrifice all the burgers and the fried stuff. Sacrifice that stuff for a healthy diet meal plan. My bad, go ahead, bro.
No, you good.
Because that's a lifestyle.
You're good.
It ain't just about athletics with that, it's a lifestyle.
Right. So there's mental, there's family sacrifices, everything. There are emotional sacrifices, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a big thing I want to ask is, people, it's a big thing going around now, mental health. Talk a little bit about how, the toll of those sacrifices and being in the league. Just talk about how that takes a toll on your mental health, or what that did for it.
So, I have a strong opinion about mental health. I believe that that's used too lightly nowadays. I think people use that as an excuse too much. There are people who have actual real mental health issues, but I think that people use that as a crutch too much, because in life there's always going to be trauma that you're going to go through. It's not about not going through trauma. There's no person who's ever lived that didn't have any type of trauma. Everybody's going to go through trauma. It's a matter of your response to the trauma. It's a matter of noticing that you're going through the trauma. So anytime I went through something that was quote unquote traumatic, I always had an outlet. Mm-hmm. Working out, talking to my family or to my cousins or something. So that college situation, when I realized I wasn't that good, I called home and said, Pops, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I can go pro. I can't even get through college workout. And he was like, I had somebody to talk to and get it out. And so that was, I guess that's mental health, right? Because if I didn't have nobody to talk to, who knows, pent up, bottled up, but I was able to have a release by talking to my dad.
Who knows how or when it'll
right,
come out.
Exactly. Yeah. And so when I don't want to say I had mental health issues, I had experiences that I didn't like. I talked to somebody, or I had a healthy outlet. Mm-hmm. Working out is the best thing ever. Because as you know,
I love it.
The more frustrated you get, the harder you can work out. Mm-hmm. And the weights ain't gonna get tired.
And there's a release,
and
man.
It's a real release when you work out hard. And you're so tired, you can't even be frustrated no more. If you really lift weights and really run hard and really go at it on the court, you're exhausted. You're too exhausted to even be frustrated what you was frustrated about. So I always had healthy outlets, and I'm so thankful to have parents. Make sure you understand, you don't understand how invaluable you are as a parent. Don't take that for lightly. My dad always told me as a man, it's never gonna be, life is not about your convenience. So I never thought life was about me all the time. He never let me grow up thinking the world revolved around me. So when something didn't go right, I was like, that's what Pop's talking about. And it ain't always about me. So if you don't feel like the world is always should revolve around you, and you accept that fact that you're living in your world, in your space, your existence is your existence. My existence is my existence. I can't take your existence and make it about me. That would be crazy. And that happens a lot in life. People take other people's and be like, well, that didn't happen for me. You just made a traumatic experience for no reason. Your experience is your experience. I can watch it, I can accept it, I can be a part of it, But at the end of the day, that's your experience. My experience is my experience, and I have to handle my experience. And I always did that. I always was like, hey, listen, whatever I'm going through, I'm not about to put that on somebody else. I have to handle that because at the end of the day, no one's going to walk for me. No one's going to pay my bills for me. No one's going to feel sorry for me. And so whenever I would go through anything challenging, I just would check myself like, hey, it's life. This is what it is.
Yeah. And then with that, so you were a part of one of the most prolific teams ever, one of the most.
Shout out to the Heatles.
I was just going to say that. You're part of the Heatles. So we got Showtime Lakers. We got the Bad Boys. We got Michael and his Bulls. We got, of course, Kobe and Shaq.
Lake Show, okay.
We got Lake Show. But we got the Heatles.
The Heatles.
Nothing like the Heatles.
Hey, what a time.
You feel me?
To be alive.
Right. And even times, now, y'all out there, we can think of the Heatles. We can think of how great. We can think of how much fun they had.
Harlem Shake. Do the Harlem Shake.
All that. we can think of how much fun that you guys had. We can think of y'all in rap songs. Drake talking about you. Weezy talking about you. Everybody talking about you. So on the outside, I think people's minds are thinking, man, it's fun. It's a party. It's a big deal being a part of that. Now me, I was fortunate enough to have a friend that was in that, and times where I would visit you on the road, where I would, come back with you after games, it wasn't what people thought. We was in a hotel room eating fruit, talking about life, looking out the window, watching highlights.
Facts.
It wasn't the party, but in the lobby was the party. There was a lot I had to get through to get to that elevator and get up to his room. A lot of greatness, if I might add. Just a lot of potential.
We call it a lot of nice food and views.
It was food and views.
Food and views.
Before I got to the elevator up to the player's floor. But what that made me think about is, of course, we speak about the sacrifices and the mental health. Mm-hmm. How did you handle the loneliness of being on that type of NBA schedule in city after city after city? How were you able to handle that, and what did you do?
Honestly, bro, it wasn't lonely because I had people like you.
Okay.
I had friends like you, brothers that I grew up with that transitioned from Dayton, that lived in different locations. I had uncles. I told you I got 8 uncles. Mm-hmm. Most of them don't live in Dayton. They're spread out, and they all have kids and kids. So I was fortunate. A lot of cities I had family that I could go see. So I wasn't ever really lonely unless I wanted to be lonely. And that's how I handled the road life. So I go to D.C., call my cousins up in D.C. Mm-hmm. I go to Indianapolis, that's right near Dayton, so the whole crew coming. Cleveland State, Cleveland Cavaliers, I went to Cleveland State. Detroit, right there near Cleveland. Anywhere in the Midwest.
Charlotte,
Scottie B.
Had to be there.
Got to be. Atlanta, your dad, my uncles that live down there, my cousins.
Oh, and this. Shout out to me coming to the playoff games in Charlotte because I was fortunate enough to meet the mother of my son.
Yes, you did. I take the assist on that. I take the lob on that.
I saw this beautiful thing. I said, "Oh my God!"
And this is a true story.
Very true story. I said, "Oh my God!" I thought, "Are you here for the players?" No. You want to meet another player? Next thing I know, I got this beautiful child with this beautiful woman.
Next thing you know, you sacrificed.
I was sacrificing
and you gave
something.
back.
I gave her something. No, she gave me
she
something.
She gave you back.
Right.
And you were inspired.
I was inspired. Thank you, Jesus. Shout out to her.
Yeah, but that's on the road, though, back to answer your question. On the road, I just would call family and friends in every city. And if I didn't have any family and friends, that cell phone, being on that cell phone, talking to somebody. I always had somebody to talk to, Mel.
Perfect.
I've never not had nobody to talk to on the phone. I'm not used to not having somebody to talk to or conversate with. I'm fortunate to I've always had somebody that I can call, so, yeah.
And one thing you said that I loved is we're going to go through trauma, we're going to go through things, but it's how you react to it.
Yes.
Which is fantastic because, mental toughness, we grew up playing in a different type of system. Shout out to Salvation Army.
Shout out to Bill Winters.
Too.
Yes, Coach Billy.
We grew up and we had that mental toughness and we thought it was normal. But
Yes,
I got to freshman year of high school and I'm out there working with the varsity because me and you were very advanced, so we got to do things like that. I'm in high school and I'm doing workouts with the varsity, and the coach stops and he's like, Brian Scott is the most mentally tough guy here. I didn't know that. I didn't know any of that. I just knew that we had work to do and I had to get that work done.
Absolutely.
And that's it. I didn't have any.
Well, that's what happens when you raised around lions, bro. We was raised around lions. We wasn't. Your dad was similar to my dad. Brad's dad was similar. Like the people that Coach Violet, his father, like we wasn't raised with the pat on your back all the time. Pat on your back if you did good, but foot in your butt if you didn't do good.
You feel me?
Like so, and that's the way it should be. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like to tell nobody how to parent or nothing like that, but that's the way life is. When you do well in life, you get well in life. When you make bad decisions or do wrong in life, you're more susceptible to bad things happening. And so, yeah, we was raised around lions, bro. Like you said, it was normal because you was like that, I was like that, Terrence was like that, Kyle was like that, Coach Winters was like that, your father was like that, my father was like that. So when you leave that environment and there's other sheep around, of course they're gonna be like, man, this kid is, in reality, it's just a normal Monday practice, bro. I'm just being intense in practice. Like you just was being you.
Right. We gotta run sprints. We gotta jump over these hurdles after school. Like
We gotta,
ain't nothing. But that was fun for us. That was fun for me. I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
That was my happiness.
Because you're a lion, bro.
Make
Make no mistake about it.
on me. Yeah, right here. I'll show you guys
you're
later.
a real lion, bro.
Right. But that was my happiness. But that brings me to my next one. My next question, as far as I know that was yours too. I know we spoke about when you working out, just the endorphins and everything like that, how you feel. But did you have to sacrifice some of your personal happiness, to get where you want? Because they speak about work-life balance, but I think
there's no such thing as work-life balance.
Thank you.
Not if you're trying to be great. There's no such.
Exactly.
There's an imbalance if you're trying to be great. If you want to be a good family man, you can be. Khabib Nurmagomedov, he was on a podcast, bro, and he said a show, and I took the clip and I sent it to some of my friends and stuff. He said, if you want to be the best in the world at something, there's no balance. He said, if you want to be a great family man, guess what you're going to do? You're going to spend a lot of time around your family. He said, if you want to be a world champion in MMA, you're going to miss almost everything to do everything with MMA. And he had a guy who he let come work with him, and the guy said, I want to leave for the holidays to go with my family and miss training. And he said, there's nothing wrong with being a family man. He said, but are you training to be the best fighter in the world, or are you just training to be okay? He said, if you're training to be the best fighter in the world and you want to stay with our camp, you're going to have to miss out on going to see your family. He said, I'm not going to judge you either way. I don't judge people who don't want to work out the way I want to work out. It's cool. Just when you don't get the same results as me, don't be surprised.
Exactly.
There's no such thing as balance, bro. There's not. And if people who want to date great people, don't get in their life if you're gonna try to balance them out, because it's gonna take away from what they're great at. Maybe after they get their financial threshold and they do it for a long time, then they can balance out. But if they on the trajectory, on the up and up, and they're hunting like we hunting right now, don't try to hold that person back, because there's no such thing as balance. I'm so imbalanced, it's sick.
Sure.
I'm sick, bro.
For sure.
If I look at the times I do stuff with family, have a good time, go shopping and all that, compared to when I work out and doing stuff for my profession, it's like 95% everything for training, 5% personal stuff.
Exactly.
That's the imbalance. And there's a layer that's sicker than me. Like,
right.
There's the Kobe Bryant, Michael, those dudes was more like 98%.
But that's why
imbalance.
They are who they are.
Exactly.
Or wherever they were.
Exactly.
And just,
for sure.
And I had a time like that recently where it's like, I love the gym and I love my gym time. And I told someone, hey, man, I want to use my time wisely for something. And they replied, man, well, that's funny coming from a guy who just spent 4 hours in the gym. And I'm like, wait, I need to run them miles. I need to stretch.
Yes.
I needed to lift. I needed to get in the sauna. I needed to get in the steam room. I needed to get in the hot tub.
Absolutely.
That's what I needed to do. And that took 4 hours of my day. But It ain't no back. I don't care if I had to stay up till 1, 2 in the morning to complete. In their life, they thought that was too much. That wasn't too much for me. And I had to let them know, hey, I can go for 4 hours and still complete this whole entire thing, even if I got to stay up to 2, because that's what I do. And that's simple for me.
Exactly.
And that's just how it went.
And anybody that's going to be in your world has to understand that.
Right.
You don't come in here taking away, because that's productive. Now, if you out there wasting time, you out there foo-fanging, you ain't on your stuff, and you being away from your family, you tripping. But if you out there putting in that work, daily grind, building something, you have to have an imbalance. You have to, if you want to be special. Now, if you want to be average, which is nothing wrong with being average, work for a little bit, spend time for a little bit, have your fun for a little bit, and you can enjoy your life. And there's nothing wrong with that life. Mm-hmm. But for the sickos out there that want to do things at like a 1 percentile, like being in the NBA is like a less than 1% of the population, being an entrepreneur, like how you trying to be, how you are, it's going to take some imbalance, bro. Mm-hmm. It's going to take 18 hours of your day for you to be working on whatever it is that you're working on. And then you have the other 6 hours to family and rest and all the other stuff. So yeah, be in balance if you want to be great.
Please
sacrifice your time.
Please do that. Now, back to our key word, sacrifice.
Yes, sir.
Now, one thing that I do see, or what people on the outside, man, these NBA players, lifestyle, the money, the do this and that. But I know you. I don't see a lot of frivolous, a lot of buying this and that. So that brings me to, I don't know why you're laughing.
Because you said, I know you. Like, and you really do.
Matter of fact, let me tell y'all a story. Norris Cole was in the NBA. We were in the car one time, and he needed a charger for his phone. I'm going to say it again. Norris Cole was already in the NBA. He needed a charger. We thought about stopping to get a charger. He said, nah, I'm not buying no charger. I can find one. He didn't want to buy one. He just didn't want to buy one. But you gotta have those people. You gotta have that. You don't want to buy a charger? You're like, no, I don't have to. I'm gonna go find one, which was cool, and that's what I love about you.
And I found one,
and he did find one, and the phone got for free. But that brings me to this as far as sacrifices. Were there? That shows me that you did make financial sacrifices before. Now, were there any financial sacrifices early that you see people do or that you wanted to do in your career that actually paid off later?
Yes. So it's unfortunate, but you know the show called Broke.
Yep.
The special that 75% of all athletes. 75% of all athletes end up going broke, right? And I never wanted to be part of that. And so I had some good veterans. I was blessed. Juwan Howard, shout out to the OG, Juwan Howard. He was my first NBA vet. Picked me up from the airport, took me to practice every day until my car got shipped there. He told me right off the rip, he said, hey, young fella, you a rookie. Ain't nothing wrong with being a rookie. The locker room you about to go into, it's a lot of heavy hitters. You're going to see all type of cars pulling up and all that. He said, don't let that make you feel bad. He said, don't go out there and buy no, he started naming type of cars. He said, don't go out there and don't let me see you pull up in no Ferrari. Don't let me see you in no big crazy chain, crazy watch, your rookie year, your first year, your rookie contract. He said, the ones that do that don't last. He said, don't try to keep up with what you see. He said, I'm 17 years in. I made $100 million back in '96. He said, LeBron, D-Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen. Them was all $100 million dudes. He said, don't be shook when you see what they have. Because it's human nature. You pull up in whatever you pull up in from college, your college car, and they pulling up in a Maybach one day.
Shout out Pop's van. Shout out to Pop. All the Heat fam knows. Shout out to Pop's van.
Yeah, so like he picking me up in an Aston Martin. By the way, he's telling me this in an Aston Martin, which I didn't even know what an Aston Martin was. So he was like, "Don't get shook by that." And so I ended up buying me a Audi, right?
I remember because I wanted it.
Oh yeah, it was fire.
It was the matte black.
Yeah, it was. I put matte black on it to preserve the triple black paint.
Okay, love it.
So I had that, which was cool for my budget.
It's cool for
It was
anybody.
cool, period.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying I learned how to budget. Like, you can't afford something unless you can buy it 2 and 3 and 4 times.
Yeah.
So I could afford that. So I didn't feel bad when I'm pulling into the garage and Ferrari is pulling up, Pugani is pulling up, Maybach is pulling up, Sprinter van is pulling up, Bentley is pulling up, Rolls Royce is pulling up. I was like, all that looks nice, but this is my lane. I'm staying in my lane. And so I sacrifice ego, per se, to stay in my lane financially. And I'm 14 years pro now, and some of the guys that was driving those things are having some financial issues. And I realized, like, dang, so maybe they didn't have it like they looked like they had it, or they had it and wasted it. And so it's the long game.
For sure.
It's not about how much you make when you're an athlete. It's about how much you can save, because all athletes are different than regular career people. Regular career people have to work 15, 20 years, and they get it on the back end. Us as athletes, we get on the front end.
For sure.
And that front end has to last us until the casket drop if you do it right. And that's what I didn't want when I stopped playing, my lifestyle to change. I want to live the same NBA lifestyle when I'm done playing. And so I was like, I didn't buy my first like designer watch until like my 4th year, bro.
Okay.
My third year in the league. And that's after 3 finals. Those finals bonuses.
Even playing with the Heat, did you get something gifted to you though?
Yeah, they gifted us.
Yeah.
Not no Rolexes or nothing like
I
that.
understand that,
But yeah, Juwan was sponsored by Jordan, so Jordan hook up,
perks.
LeBron, the Nike LeBron hook up. D-Wade had different deals with fashion, so we would get clothes and bags, and same with Ray Allen. So yeah, I got hooked up as a rookie, and I used that stuff.
Oh, for sure.
I used all that stuff, and I saved my money. I saved all of my stuff. I still got the same cars from back when I was playing for the Heat 12, 13 years ago. I got the same cars. I drive the same cars, bro.
Perfect.
And guess what? They run smooth. They all good. Now, I did buy me a house eventually after like year 9. Like as a pro, I bought a house, but I stacked and stacked and stacked. I didn't buy it as I was making it. I stacked and stacked and stacked, buy. Stack, buy. Versus make, buy. That's how you go broke.
Exactly.
So I did sacrifice that. I seen guys in Rolexes all the time. I seen guys in that, and I just had my little basic watch, whatever, my little Fossil. But it was cool though, like, and because I didn't stunt. Now, if I was acting like a stunner and I was pulling up in a Fossil, that's how you get talked about. But I stayed humble from the beginning. I came in there like, dang, that's a nice car you got, 17. What kind of car is that? Oh man, it's an Aston Martin. I want to get one day. Oh, you got it, young fella. Versus, oh, he got an Aston Martin. Oh, I'm gonna go buy one tomorrow and pull up to practice. And now I look silly because he got $100 million in the bank. I don't have no money because I'm a rookie. My checks are coming every 2 weeks. I don't have nothing in the bank. And so I would look silly financing a Bentley when I don't got nothing. And I would look like the clown. I would be like, yeah, I got a Bentley, and everybody else is laughing at me like, he get paid every 2 weeks. He don't got nothing stashed up. So I learned that. Like, I had good vets to teach me that.
Yeah, and plus you're very secure in who you are. You've always been very secure in who you are. I don't think nothing can really rattle you. I've never really seen you change or alter who you are for anything around you, which is a very, very big deal. And once the finances started to come in, I know you have a big family, big support system, but also friends around you. Did that change any relationships with anybody once the fame, you started, you on TV, beating the Celtics? First of all, I remember that game. You against the Celtics, you came in killing. I was on cloud 9. I felt like I was out there too. But did the fame and the money and all that being up there, did that change any relationships as far as friends and family go?
It changed some, not because of something that anybody necessarily did. It's just that the time commitments. I can't do what I used to do in high school. You know what I'm saying? I can't be in certain locations in the hood, where Dunbar is in Dayton. Sure. Like, I can't be caught in certain places at certain times like I used to could. Like, I didn't do it much anyway, but like now I have stuff to lose, and I'm not gonna risk that. So yeah, it's certain places I didn't go anymore, which automatically cut off certain people. my family was always tight. They was always solid. So my family didn't change any. Only thing that changed from them is, they want to come see me play.
Yeah.
And so I don't mind giving them tickets to come see me play.
Yeah. I wouldn't think that with that family, I wouldn't think that anybody would be able to get to you anyway, as far as.
Oh, not a circle type.
Right.
My mom and dad and
right.
Deanna don't play no games.
Right.
And my uncles, they don't play no games. But, some people's closest, even their parents sometimes change on them. Like, I got teammates that play pro. Man, they have to get away from their mom and their dad or their sister because, they like vultures sometimes.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate, that my family, they stayed solid because they realized my dad saw what I looked like as a freshman versus I looked like as a senior. My whole body, everything, demeanor changed. They saw me work. So it would have been weird for them to try to take away from that because they saw me work and they saw that it was me putting in the work. Like I wasn't in their hairs, I wasn't in their way. I was totally independent when I was at Cleveland State to do what I needed to do. So, my family was solid for that.
Mm-hmm. And that brings me to a story that I heard. Shout out to Gil's Arena. You were on Gil's podcast. Shout out to Gil. That's my third favorite player ever. If y'all want to know what type of player I am, Steph, Kobe, Gil. I'm shooter, volume scorer. I love Gil.
Shout out to Gil, because y'all the one
Gil.
that gave me this vision to even have this podcast, so shout out to Gil.
There we go. And I think I heard a story of B. Jennings, which I want to give a shout out to B. Jennings, too, because I remember back in the day playing AAU summertime. B. Jennings was that guy. He was really that guy.
He was one of the trailblazers.
Yeah, he was like that. I remember going and I just wanted to watch him. SoCal All-Stars. But he had a story about how, him making money and that changed his life or his family.
Changed his relationship with his mother.
Exactly. So, we can see how those things definitely happen. But I probably know the answer to this, but looking back, as we close this out, speaking of all those sacrifices and everything that you were talking about, do you feel it was all worth it?
100%. I wouldn't do it no different, bro. I wouldn't do it no different, man. And I think about that every day. What would I do different? Every experience made me who I was. It took me winning back-to-back state championships and still not having no Division I offers until later on after. I didn't get my Division I offer until after I won the state championship. Mm-hmm. So I'm getting ready for graduation, not knowing what school I was going. Well, I was going to go to NAIA school, Walsh. But I was like, not knowing. I didn't have no Division I offer. So I took that experience, and that's what drove me to have that hunger to be like, I'm gonna show these people that I'm the truth. If I would have been a 5-star recruit, I don't know if I would have had that same hunger. I don't know. Maybe not. So it took me having only one Division I offer. It took me going to Cleveland State and not playing much as a freshman to get my body, my mind together. It took me meeting Janathan Bullock, learning how to work hard and put a workout regimen together. It took me having a coach like Coach Waters to tell me, like, hey, as a freshman, you might be better at this than the upperclassmen, but he fits our team better right now, so he's going to play over you. It took me having a coach like that to give me that internal drive to be like, I'm going to show you, coach, that, you need me in your starting lineup. It took all of that. It took my parents, the way they disciplined me growing up. I was a good kid. I was smart. I made honor roll and all that, but still Pops was on me. Like, you would have thought I was a juvenile delinquent the way Pops was on me, though, because he realized, being a black man in this world, you got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. He always told me when he died or whatever, I got to be able to handle it. You know what I'm saying? So he raised me as if I was going to leave the house. And so I appreciate that, because now that I'm grown, I can handle it. Whatever situation may happen, I feel like I'm equipped to be able to figure it out and handle it. So it took all of that. And then me going to the Heat, seeing what that's like at the pinnacle of the profession, that's something I can teach my son or my daughter. If I'm blessed to have a kid one day, like, I can teach them, like, hey, this is what it takes to be the top percentile. Because my dad was a professional. My mom was a professional. So I know what that's like to go to school, get your degree, and work. That raised me, so I'm never gonna poo-poo that. That's what fed me for all those years. But I know that way already. Now, being a professional at the top of my profession, I know another way. So all of those layers helped me to be where I'm at today. So nah, I wouldn't change anything. It was the sacrifices was worth it, bro.
Yeah.
The sacrifice was worth it. Look where we at, bro. We in Pennsylvania, bro. We from Dayton, Ohio. We done been all over this country, bro.
All over.
Because we know how to play ball.
I done been in places I never even thought, and of course you have. You done been around the world playing ball.
That's what I'm
that
trying to
ball
tell you.
brought you all around the world. But yeah, so here at Route 30 Podcast, it's always going to be about sacrifice, giving back, and inspiring. I just want to leave you guys with this. Norris, what advice would you give to the young athletes as far as what you think the sacrifices that they'll have to make to, if they want to reach the college level, your level, or any professional level in anything that they do?
I'll keep it real simple for you. The higher the level you want to go, the more you want to have to sacrifice. If you want to eat filet mignon, you got to make filet mignon money, which means you got to have a filet mignon work ethic. Period, as simple as that. If you want cheeseburger work ethic. You want souffle, you got to have souffle work. You want 5-star dining, you got to have 5-star dining work ethic. And that's the lesson. If you want to be a college Division I athlete, you got to sacrifice and do the things necessary to train your body, train your mind. If you want to be a pro, you got to take it to another level. And that's what I'll leave you with. The higher the level, the more you have to sacrifice.
And there we have it. So, like we said, sacrifice, give back, and inspire. Make sure you get your merch. And here at the Route 30 Podcast, we thank you, and we are out.
Shout out the champ. Shout out Scottie B. We out.